Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and you are watching The Nerdy Grail. Now, last night me and my fiance we went to the cinema to finally see, because on October 4th, 2024, we got the release of Joker 2, or Joker Folie à Deux. And I was really looking forward to this film because the original Joker from 2019 is one of my favourite comic book movies of all time. It would probably easily break my top three alongside films like Logan and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But I adored Joker. I loved the story that it told. I loved how you could see Arthur slowly becoming the Joker throughout the first movie. I loved his delusions that he was having, where he honed in on one of his neighbours, Sophie Dumont, and thought that they were in a romantic relationship when really that wasn't the case. I loved exploring the mind of Arthur Fleck. I thought Joaquin Phoenix did a fantastic job, and incorporating the Bruce Wayne thing as well, Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne's death into that as well, I thought was really cool. And so I was really excited to see where the sequel would go from there. Would we see explore that further now that Arthur has sort of almost become fully the Joker now and he's now been institutionalized in Arkham? Will we now see him be full-on Joker and go on a little bit more of a rampage, especially when they announced for the second one that they were going to get Harley Quinn, or as she's known in this film, Lee Quinzel, into the film as well. So you've got the Joker and Harley relationship, and that is a relationship that I adore. I love Joker and Harley, whether they're being nice to each other or in that abusive relationship. I love Joker and Harley. And we are yet to see a true interpretation of Harley Quinn done on the big screen properly, even though I adore Margot Robbie and she does a fantastic job as Harley. But I was looking forward to seeing what Lady Gaga would bring to this. That being said, unfortunately, I've come away from Joker 2 very conflicted, very unsure about my opinions. I wouldn't say it is the worst thing I've ever seen, but if I'm being totally honest, I was very disappointed with this film. And I'm going to explain to you now why. So, at the start of this film, it starts off quite well. They start off with, and I should point out as well that this is going to be a spoiler review as well. So, if you don't want any spoilers because you want to go watch the film yourself, then I'd click off this video now, go watch Joker, and then come back, because I am going to be talking about a few spoilers in this film. So, those of you who need to leave have already left. So, let's talk about Joker. So, the film does start with a nice little Warner Brothers Hanna-Barbera almost style animation, which I think is quite interesting, and it gives you a bit of a deeper dive into what this movie's going to be about. You sort of see, I think it's called My Shadow and Me, or something along those lines, and it's basically like Joker, stroke Arthur, sort of having a bit of a tumble with their own shadow, sort of foreshadowing this dual identity, which is what they really hammer home in Joker 2, is that the Joker is another personality and Arthur is a separate personality. They tried to hammer that home in this film as well, splitting the personalities, and you sort of get an indication of that through the animation. The animation lasts about 3 or 4 minutes, and then it cuts straight into Arkham, where we see Arthur Fleck, who has obviously been there for quite a while, and he's awaiting trial for the crimes that he committed as Joker in the previous film, like killing Murray live on TV, the 3 men he killed in the subway. He also hadn't revealed yet, but he does in this film reveal that obviously he's the one who ends up killing his mother, smothering her to death in the hospital. So that does come out in this film as well. And he just seems a bit down. He's not smiling. All the guards constantly asking him, like, tell us a joke, tell us a joke. He's sort of a bit of a celebrity sort of at this point to a degree, because there apparently is a movie made about him, which I think is what the short cartoon at the start is trying to show. So he's infamous, really. So everyone seems to know him, but he doesn't seem to be all there mentally. He's sort of gone, zoned out after the events of the first film. We do eventually, on one of his rounds, as he's being escorted through the prison, they walk past this singing group, and he bumps into Harley Quinn, or Lee Quinzel, who's singing. They catch eyes, and instantly there's a little bit of a connection there. I mean, Lee even comes out of the singing lesson, does the old gun to the head, and they sort of have a bit of an interaction. Um, and it sort of like then flourishes through there, really. They sort of end up seeing each other a little bit more because one of the guards, played by Brendan Gleeson, Jackie Sullivan, ends up getting Arthur to go to one of those singing lessons so that Harley and Joker can sort of talk more. And they just start to build a bit of a bond. And on a movie night, Lee recommends that they should try and get out of here, because she wants Arthur to be the real him. She loves the Joker personality more than the Arthur personality, as we discover later on in the film. So wants Arthur to let himself go and be more Joker. So she sets fire to the film set, a piano at the back, so that everyone has to evacuate. They go on a bit of a run and they start singing together, and they sort of kiss, and that's sort of where their bond truly connects. And then Joker stroke Arthur finally feels happy. He finally feels like there's something worth fighting for, especially when he goes on trial. And then the rest of this movie is sort of this back and forth between a courtroom drama scene and then back in the asylum where he's sort of either getting abused by the guards, either physically or mentally, for things that he said in the courtroom, or he's just sort of happy because he feels like he's going to be able to be set free and go off with Harley. So it does just become a bit of a back and forth. And in the courtroom scenes, we do get the return of some characters from the first film, such as Lee Gill, who plays Gary Puddles. And we also get Zazie Beetz, who played Sophie Dumont as well, the woman that Arthur thought he had a fling with in the first film. I don't mind the courtroom scenes, but I feel like this film suffered really badly with pacing and a lack of change in environment, because literally, once Harley and Joker have their first proper interaction, after Harley sets fire to the piano in the background and they all get evacuated, it does just become Arkham, courtroom, Arkham, courtroom, Arkham, courtroom for the rest of the movie, and that does drain a little bit. But what's interesting, I think, as well, is also during the courtroom scenes, we also get introduced to Harvey Dent. And what I find most interesting, and he's done very, very well, and I love Harvey Dent in this film. He is done very well. But at the end of the movie, after Joker has been pretty much found guilty by the end of the movie because Arthur has not defended himself well at all, he sort of let Harley corrupt him a little bit and has let the Joker personality take over more. And so then it came to him firing his defense and wanting to do it all himself. And yeah, he's crazy at this point. And so he's found guilty, but then the side of the courtroom gets attacked, a bomb explodes, and he sort of escapes. But they do hone in on Harvey Dent on the floor in the courtroom, and half of his face is sort of scarred and cut and bruised. So half his face is like proper scarred. So it's hinting at a Two-Face. It is hinting that he's now become Two-Face or will become Two-Face. Whether we'll actually ever see that on screen or not is another story, but Two-Face is born in that scene. Arthur escapes thanks to some doppelgangers who still support him, driving him away. But Arthur, at that point, is sort of come to a realization after being found guilty that he doesn't want to be Joker anymore and wants to just be himself. So escapes from the car, finds Lee. Lee sort of tells him that they can't be together now that you've given up Joker, revealing that all along, all she cared about was the Joker personality, which characters throughout the film have been warning him about, such as the guards, like his own lawyer, whose name is Marianne Stewart. His own lawyer was telling him that she could be playing him for a fool, but he doesn't believe her, that she could be lying to him, and Joker does find out that Harley has been telling some lies throughout the film. And so he's sort of left on his own again, and he gets taken back to Arkham. And at the end of the film, and this is like the major spoiler for the film, he is summoned by the guards saying that he has a visitor. and he's then taken into a corridor. He's on his own. Another one of the inmates follows him from behind, saying that they're a big fan and they want him to tell him a joke. And so Arthur's like, okay, you can tell me the joke. And as he goes to tell him the joke, he then just stabs Arthur repeatedly, like a crazed lunatic. And he has a mad smile on his face. And in the background, you can actually see him carving almost a smile onto his face. And Arthur does die at the end of this movie. And we sort of get an indication that that inmate who's crazily laughing in the background could actually be who the Joker is meant to be. So he's inspired from Arthur to become the Clown Prince of Crime that we all know and all love. And that's sort of how the movie ends, really. But in between, you've got so many musical numbers that sort of break the flow. I don't mind the musical numbers, and the songs are pretty good, but they break and ruin the flow. I was a little bit bored at times. I'm not gonna lie. It was such a disappointment because I rate the first one so highly, but there was so many songs in this film. Some of them were necessary and fit the plot perfectly and made sense. Others just felt random and just really ruined the flow. So overall, I was a little bit underwhelmed by Joker Folie, if I'm being perfectly honest. It's not the worst film I've ever seen, but at the same time, it's not a film that I'm going to really rush to rewatch. Would I totally agree with all the criticisms I've seen in other people's reviews? To an extent, yes, but I think some people are being a bit harsh. But yeah, it's nowhere near as good as the first film, that's for sure. I definitely prefer Joker 1 over this, if I'm being perfectly honest. Performance-wise, Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga did a fantastic job. Nothing against any of the actors or actresses in this film. They did a fantastic job. But I just think pacing was quite poor. Not an awful lot happened, really. Yeah, it's not really one that I'm going to be rewatching anytime soon, unfortunately. So for Joker 2, I'm probably going to give it a 5 out of 10, if I'm being perfectly honest, and that's me being generous. I would say it's about average as a movie, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to like this one because I adore Joker 1. But that is going to be my short little review on Joker Folie à Deux. I do have another video that's out, which is an unboxing of the Joker 2 Folie à Deux vinyl soundtrack. So after watching this video, if you want to go check that video out to see me unbox that, then you more than can. But this is going to be the Nerdy Grail signing out for now. If you did enjoy this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now, everybody.